Why, hello. That's it. We're going.
Yay! The show's over. Why are you still here? Go now.
Go. Leave. Walk away. It's over. This was interesting. I gotta look up the date for Zootopia.
Actually, Sekhmet, while you're doing that, I wonder, did you actually had any, like, hope of liking this thing at all? Unlike me?
I mean, you know, it wasn't the worst thing. Okay, so this was serialized from. Okay, so fun fact. Zootopia came out in theaters, right? Or at least at film festivals in February of 2016. Beastars didn't start serializing in the Shonen magazine until October of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because, like, obviously, the author had it in development before that, but Zootopia was also in development before it. So Zootopia was probably in development in, like, late 2014, early 2015.
Yeah, outside of jokes, I don't really want to go to the author and say, you ripped this off.
No, I don't think...
99% chance no.
I don't think they did. I don't think the author did rip it off. I just want to point out that there are a lot of similarities between the two.
I guess more important to point out here would be that anthropomorphized animals became real popular around that.
Yeah, that's the
animation.
one. That's the one. Yeah. That's the point I was trying to make. Like,
you still
anthropomorphized.
See it to this day.
Yeah, and also, in that aspect, the easiest way with anthropomorphized character cast to make a dichotomy between two groups of people is herbivore-carnivore, right?
Mm.
That's just the easiest way to do it, which is understandable.
It's just funny that it just happened to end up so similar with the same characters.
I absolutely do not think that either was inspired by the other, because on that timeline they both had to have been in idea production development for at least a year. So they're at the same time, so they're not based off one another. No, not at all. So I don't want to make that equation at all. One is not the other. The other is not the one. But it's a little funny that they both came out at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Vorn here, I guess. Vorn, was there anything else besides the baseline that it's anthropomorphized animals that got you, like, any of the story that you didn't care for? Just because I don't want to go at Seki yet.
It felt like the animals were, like, in terms of design, too humanized right there, at least for me.
Well, that's the anthropomorphized aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, story-wise.
Well,
did you have any problems with the story at all?
Yeah, there were a bit right there. Mostly with the revolving around, like, no, not... Who's the elk again?
Yeah,
Rui.
Rui.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Rui.
The guy that had, like, the...
Yes,
the little antlers, the 4 on his foot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, his story is more like, what... Well, it's not a story, it's just how he acts with, like, any of the other characters. It feels so off to me, and I just... Maybe we'll learn more about it, but it's just that dynamic right there. It's just so off-putting to me.
That's funny. He's probably one of my favorite characters from this.
Mm.
I personally just had some, like, I was a little uncomfortable with the story between Haru and Legoshi. Not gonna lie. It just made me a little strange, not even strangely, it was a little uncomfortable. Morally. Like, this was a little morally gray at times. Maybe not in a way that I'd enjoy watching. You know? It was... I get that the whole herbivore-carnivore thing was playing out, but, like, I couldn't help but be watching it and thinking, if these were, like, just two humans, and like, he was doing this, that would be creepy as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, herbivore-carnivore, like, I get that, but, like, it only works in that context. Otherwise, it is just a little...
Otherwise, this dynamic, if we're taking this into, what is it? If they were, say, both human, if this wasn't anthropomorphized animals, this would go into Goblin No-No territory, potentially.
I mean, maybe
Weird
not
fetish.
that far, but it's just, it could get a little bit of a creepy vibe going on if you don't have the whole herbivore-carnivore thing playing out. And then the other, like, the doping with the tiger. I don't know. Wasn't a fan of that either.
Yeah.
That was a little creepy. But then again, I mean, a lot of that was inherent to the whole herbivore-carnivore kind of setup. So, like, I get it, but I think it was a problem for me that I often wanted to... I didn't want to think about them as anthropomorphized, right? Like, I was always just picturing them as normal high school students. But then the situations are so unique to the anthropomorphization and the story beats contained with the carnivore-herbivore thing that when picturing it the other way, you start getting a little leery, because that's not...
It doesn't
don't like
translate
that.
perfectly into an allegory to our world. It is inherently
No.
just aspects of this storytelling of this world the same way. You have to think of it the same way you would think of elves living hundreds upon hundreds of years in...
Yeah, and it's hard because I want to like you always, I don't know about you, but I tend to, like, if things remind me of other things, I associate them. Like, I mean, that's why I brought up the whole Zootopia thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that they're based off one another, but in my head, I was watching this and I was like, oh, it's kind of like Zootopia. You know what I mean?
It's interesting, because I can see where you're having problems, because if you try to break down the allegory, or if you try to break down, like, take things as literally as possible here, it is a little weird. But at the same time, if I were to apply that to anything not for, like, again, the Elven, go to Lord of the Rings here. Arwen and Aragorn. Arwen is an absolute crib stealer.
Yeah, but then you factor in relative aging and the fact that it takes elves much longer to...
But that's an aspect of the world that's
Yeah.
inseparable,
Yeah.
so you can't just view it as a pure allegory for
Yeah,
real
so
life
you
there.
know, otherwise
you have
you're
to hold
looking-
it with the world.
Yeah, otherwise you're looking at, like, someone who's, like, over 1,000 years old and someone who's 80. And that's a large age gap.
Like, I can jokingly point out the age gap there the same way I can jokingly jump over to something like, what's that anime we watched last season that I, like, went to town on about the genocide of the goblins?
Oh!
It's just a matter of how
Fuck
much you can suspend
you.
your disbelief when you're looking
Fuck
at
you! I was trying to forget about that. It was by the grace of the gods.
Again, though, that's an aspect of the world that you
yeah.
have to be able to suspend your disbelief for, and I purposely, jokingly didn't do it that time.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, I think that's where my biggest struggle comes from, and why I'm giving this a Met is because I really found it hard to watch this, because I think the biggest problem is, outside of the anthropomorphization, the situations are so human, right? Like, they're in drama club at their school, like, they're living their life. Like, the situations are can so clearly be associated with, like, you know, humanity, but then it's not. And it's very different, and I get it, but it's hard to reconcile. It's very hard to reconcile.
Yeah.
And also, the whole thing with Haru and Legoshi is a little... It's a little weird that this dude is just like, I'm obsessed with her. It's very Edward from Twilight. It's very Edward from Twilight. And Bella.
Should we throw in the FBI meme right now?
I don't know.
This
I just
isn't
didn't...
FBI.
No, it's not
territory.
FBI, but it's very Edward from Twilight and Bella at times.
Okay.
I don't know if Realm could back me. I just didn't... I didn't have that problem watching it.
I didn't have that
Yeah.
problem either. Like, because the thing is that this is all, because all of this is in Legoshi's head for the most part.
Yeah, and so is Edward's. Oh my God, her blood smells so good. I just want to bite her. I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong here, but a lot of this isn't really the thing is that this is more like it's shown to us, like we as the audience have the omnipotence in the situation, but the other characters don't, so they don't see it in this case as easily.
Yeah, which is fair, but that's also what happens in Twilight. Like, we're seeing, like, at times, we see Edward's thoughts, or we see from Edward's point of view, you know? But that doesn't mean everyone's seeing from his point of view. But, I mean, I'll give up this allegory, but I just want it to be known that it is a little...
It's been so long since I've seen Twilight, so I'm at least the movie.
Thou hast not participated in the Twilight Renaissance of 2020.
And I don't plan to try and relive that memory.
That's entirely fair. Twilight is a trauma in my head. Like, I have trauma responses associated to those movies. It is terrible.
Yeah.
I do like the subplot of the brutal murders happening.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that. That was kind of like a nice touch in the underpinnings, because it gave like a sense of like tension and kind of urgency to certain parts of the show.
I will actually agree with Sekhmet about the Legoshi he is stalkerish, because he actually does act on like some of those thoughts right there, and it's kind of
like Edward watching Bella sleep.
If it stayed in his mind, I'll be like, yeah, okay. But he actually acted on some of them. It's like,
I don't know. I never got the stalker thing. He never... Most things where they were in the same area, they were there for incidentally, or he was going there, like, specific... Like, there was one point where he went to go see her. That was just to go see her, though. He's just an awkward kid. I don't know.
Because the thing is that the way Legoshi behaves, he doesn't behave anything like Edward.
Well, no, but, you know, I mean, I get that. I'm not saying he is Edward. It's just...
I know you were making a joke. I knew you were making a joke with that allegory right there, but like he doesn't have the same actual tendencies that Edward does.
Yeah, like he's not watching her sleep or sniffing her in class.
Yeah.
But also,
so I can understand where you're coming from with your discomfort, but like Knick Knack, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
That's fair.
He's just how do you describe it?
He's an awkward teenager.
Yeah, he's an awkward teenager with hormones going through him.
Like, that is, if anything, is thematically like supposed to be allegory here. Definitely the hormonal aspect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
And he's brought up I don't remember, I'm pretty sure it was this season. Yeah, it was this season. But he brought up the point that he's never felt like this because he's never had much thought about girls. So this is like a first for him, so he doesn't know how to deal with these emotions.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair.
Okay, yeah.
I will admit the incorporation of the whole black market thing was a little weird. I liked it, but it was weird.
I love that aspect of it.
I mean, I liked it. It was
like
weird.
The world. It was nice.
Yeah.
Especially with the panda. The panda dude was awesome.
Panda dude is
real.
I love the panda dude.
Is real.
Yeah. That was interesting. I liked getting that kind of look at like the way that the world works, basically. You know, what people do to kind of make money and other stuff.
And the kind of reality of the actual underworld. Like, everyone knows about the black market.
Yeah, it helps with rationalizing the thoughts of the characters at the school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seeing something like that and having it be relatively normalized, basically.
Yes.
Helps in the general setup of like how they're acting at school and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that about covers it for story and characters.
Oh, yeah,
Waifu Wars?
Man, my dude, you just keep forgetting waifu wars and shit.
I'm not giving one this time around. I don't care that this is my show. I'm not giving one.
We still have to do it.
I mean, we all agreed on the panda, didn't we?
Waifu wars. Waifu wars. Waifu wars.
Am I going first this time?
Apparently.
Rui. I really like him. He's just got like that. He's a prick. But he's an endearing prick.
Okay.
And I really love, because there's a political aspect that's introduced with him as well, so I'm eating that shit up.
Okay.
I'm going to refuse to answer because you're going to call me a furry if I give an answer.
Mine is Panda Dude, as I stated.
No one, because I'm not a furry.
You two may not be furries, but you know what you two are? You two are bitches.
I will accept that. I would rather be a bitch.
I will say this. I do have a favorite character. I'm a bitch for not stating it. So I'm not but I'm also not inclined to be called a furry.
And I know it's a joke, but I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to call you guys furries.
If there's anyone in our fan base who are furries, we apologize. We really like you. Don't go, please.
Oh, look. Despite the fact that I'm making a joke about furries, doesn't mean that I'm just like, ugh, furries, how dare. Like, you do you. Whatever floats your boat, so long as it's legal, safe, and consensual, you go for it. I have no input. I should have no input. You know?
As long as it ain't near me, I'm good.
But it's a little funny to make fun of in this context. Like, this is very obviously furry bait. The amount of furry porn about this series is ungodly.
I don't want to know.
Why are you talking about it?
I don't want to know.
It's not hidden.
I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know about it.
Look. And like I said, no judgment. We all know on this channel that I am nothing if not the biggest simp, especially for tentacles. So, I have no room to judge. You know, my constant commentary in our Fate videos means that I have zero room to judge other people.
Remember, guys, Seki is a monster fucker.
Yep, I'm not yucking your yum. I'm just laughing at it like I laugh at my own. With that being said, don't look up this show and furry on the internet unless you are prepared for what you will find. Cautionary tales from Seki's internet browser history.
Don't taint your eyes.
I didn't even have to look up furry with it. I just looked up Beastars and I went to images because I wanted to find some
Did you turn off safe search on your computer?
I never have safe search on.
Well, there's your fucking problem.
I don't use safe search, and I regretted it this time.
Remember, kids, always use safe search when browsing the internet. Yeah. Save your eyes.
Yes. Avert your eyes. Like, comment, subscribe.
Help us all.